My name is Natasha Chiumya, and if we haven't met, I'm the CEO of Diaspora Connect. And on this channel, I like to give you who lives abroad information and inspiration on the Zambian real estate market. Now, we're on the road to 10,000 subscribers. I know you've heard me talk about it again and again, but we really need your help to get there. So if you haven't subscribed to our channel, then please subscribe and hit the notification button so you don't miss any of our videos. Also, we have a Facebook group where we talk all things real estate. So if you would like to take the conversations that you see in these videos further, then please go ahead and join our group. In fact, Ngosa Nkandu is going to have a special tip just for our Facebook group community. So make sure that you go and request to join us there. Now, in today's video, I'm speaking to Ngosa Nkandu of Kingdom Real Estate Agency, and he's going to tell us all about property management. He's going to show us how he eliminates the stress that comes with property ownership. He's also going to talk about how he screens tenants on behalf of his client landlords. And also, he's going to show us how, by providing his property management services, he helps keep these properties in tip-top shape. So let's get into the interview straight away. Hi, Ngosa.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing well, and you?
I'm very well, thank you. Thanks so much for joining us today.
My pleasure.
Okay, so I get a lot of questions about whether we provide property management services, and we don't. But I know that you do. So why don't you start by telling our audience what exactly is property management?
Awesome. I think over the years, I've developed the interest in managing property because I think we have noticed quite a number of investors are having a challenge in that space. So my simple definition of property management is, I don't know if you've heard of stewardship. It's actually taking care of property on behalf of someone.
Okay.
So in this case, it's property owners or investors. So what we like to do, or what we do for property owners, is we actually undertake all the process of actually managing from when they have actually concluded the building of the property. We actually help put in tenants, screening them, and rental collections and everything.
Wonderful. Yeah. Okay, this sounds like exactly what a lot of our clients want, and a lot of the diaspora community are looking for. So give us more information about what property management actually involves. I think you've just touched on a bit, but maybe just go into a bit more detail.
Okay, so I'll actually delve into practical occurrences or things that we're actually dealing with. So basically what we do as Kingdom Real Estate, the property management side of things, we actually remove stress from property owners. You know, I'll give an example. You'd find that because of what happens, or depending on how many units an individual owns, there's a lot of pressure that comes with that. So you'd find that tenants are having a lot of issues with their property. We have to determine whether whatever's happened in the property, whether it's as a normal wear and tear, or is it as a result of the tenant's negligence. Right. So we undertake that process of determining who is supposed to pay for whatever damage that has actually transpired or occurred in the property. We undertake the screening of all tenants that come into the property. As it were, all agents or brokers, what they're interested much is their commission.
Yes.
Then they leave.
Then they're out of it.
Yeah. And then whatever comes after that, they don't care.
Absolutely.
But what we have done is, as Kingdom Real Estate Agency, we've actually developed what we call a tenants form, where they actually impute their details. So we go deeper to ask where they work, if they have the capacity to pay the rent, or can they get a recommendation from their previous landlord. That gives credibility. So if we understand where they're coming from, where they work, it will give us at least an understanding of if the would-be or the prospective tenant will be able to be consistent in paying rentals. After they have gone into the property, we actually undertake what we call, the property checks. So we need to check the status of the property. So there's a form that we have developed, which we sign in, or should I say tick the boxes. If the property or whatever gadget, let's say in the kitchen, what condition is it in? Is it in excellent condition, good condition, or bad condition? That is very important because it will then help us check the same list when they are going out. Because remember, I mentioned we need to determine, is the damage due to normal wear and tear, or it is as a result of the tenant's negligence. That helps us to determine who is supposed to pay for what. So if it is as a result of normal wear and tear, then definitely the landlord needs to pay for that particular thing. But if it's as a result of the negligence of tenants, then the tenant is actually supposed to pay for that cost. So that at least at the end of the day, the property owner retains their profit, because it doesn't make sense. A tenant pays rentals, then all the rent is going into maintenance or dealing with other aspects.
I really like what you're saying.
Sure.
First of all, the aspect of removing stress.
Sure.
Because I think that it doesn't matter whether you have a simple cottage
Sure.
like me, or if you have, 10, 20, multiple units. Sure. Having a tenant can be stressful because, they have demands and they expect you as the landlord to respond to those demands. So I know, especially for our friends in the diaspora, that aspect of taking away the stress will be very important to them. The other thing that I want to ask you is the issue of actually screening tenants.
Sure.
Because I know in this market it's not so common.
Yep.
Yeah. So, and I remember we had a comment on our YouTube channel
Sure.
from one of our friends in the diaspora who said that in Zambia you guys just let anyone into your properties. Here where we are, they screen us.
Yep, true.
So can you tell us why you started that practice?
Okay, we noticed over the years, a client would come, they would want a property, definitely. We signed the lease agreements without doing the background checks and all. But down the line, they begin to default on their rentals. We realized that, I think there was a trend that came in where someone would pay rentals for a particular person. But now, if they were in a relationship, definitely, and that breaks, then the person actually doesn't have the capacity anymore to continue with that. Then we noticed a number of people, when they come into the property, they will be able to pay the initial maybe 2-3 months upfront, such that they are cleared. But after that, they begin to default or delay payments. We realized that a number of people were changing jobs without informing us, which is something that is expected. But as a landlord or as a property manager, I need to be aware of those things. That's why when I notice that I'm having defaults, because you signed that form, I'll be able to check with your employer, just to double check, is this person still working with you? Or this person is actually has defaulted for 12 months. I'll give an example. I have a client, we are still pitching them. They have a number of units. But it will interest you to know that because he's busy, he actually has almost about 4 tenants that did not pay him for one, I think, over a year. The other one, 8 months. So when he went through his books, he realized that this person did not pay. When they started chasing them, they actually changed jobs and they were fired somewhere and all. So you'd find that, no, those are things. Now, how do you begin to follow up on your rent? The current situation that I'm actually going through right now, I took over a unit of about 17 units. I realized that there were a number of inconsistencies and all with tenants not paying rent. So what we did is definitely we took the legal way, one of the legal way, we're not lawyers definitely. So we actually wrote to the tenants indicating that no, they owe us this much and all, and so that they can acknowledge the debt. Then later on, definitely we told them, we gave them a period of time to clear their balances, But we realized that after sitting down with all these things, these are common things. It's either they changed jobs or somebody was paying for their rent, but now they no longer pay. So that actually helps us to know the credibility of a tenant.
That's fantastic. So how now do you deal with some of these difficult tenants?
Sure.
I'm sure our property owners, especially our friends abroad, would like to understand that, because you've talked about, okay, the tenant is not paying rent, but sometimes you can have a tenant who's paying, but extremely difficult.
That's true.
How do you deal with those difficult tenants?
So how we've actually done, why actually property management is an integral component in real estate investment is that you don't want to, some that are able to actually meet up with tenants one-on-one, we allow you to do it, but you'd find that at some point I recommend you move out so that you are not the focal point or the focal person that they actually meet, because now there's familiarity. I'll give an example. You might have actually gotten maybe your colleague to be in the cottage. If they default, are you going to follow them up strictly?
It's awkward, isn't it?
It will be awkward.
Yes.
But if there's a property manager in between, lack of a better term, I don't care. All I care about is the landlord getting their return on their investment. You know, because at the end of the day, the landlord is not running a charity organization. Right. They need to actually meet their day-to-day cost. You getting me? So I'll need to make sure that that rent is gotten. So definitely we engage, because these are our clients. Will not be as harsh as it were, you know, where in the compounds you find your house has been actually locked or they have changed the padlock. That is definitely against the law according to the Rental Act. Yeah. But what we do is definitely we engage with the client. Engage with them. Why are you defaulting? Is there any challenge? When can we expect your rent? We give it as a warning. The second time, definitely, we need now to write a letter. Listen, we've noticed that you have not been paying your rent. We are giving you, as per legal recommendation, as per lease agreement, we give you a month's notice to vacate. But upon vacating, you need to clear your balances. So the person acknowledges, and then we sit down again with them. If we notice that, okay, they are not actually complying, truth be told, I would love to say that no, most of the properties, it's smooth, but it's never as smooth. Like we just indicated, somebody might be actually in a good paying job, but down the line they lose their job. That's right. It's something that they did not plan for, but it has happened, you know. But it's something that we sit down with you know, truth be told, we actually even advise our tenants or our clients to say, listen, if now that you have lost your job, it's important you either downsize or look at something that is manageable for you, because what you're currently renting is beyond your salary or beyond what you're able to do. So we actually dialogue and make sure we sit down with the tenants.
I really like that approach. You know, sometimes when it comes to these money issues, it's better just to be frank and honest, and then find a way that gives you some breathing space. Okay. So I also want to ask you about a lease agreement. Sure. How critical is that? Because sometimes you find people want to get into an informal arrangement over something as important as property.
Sure. With my experience with the lease agreement, it's very important. You know, it doesn't matter whether it's in the compound, in my opinion, whether it's in the low, middle, or high-end residential places, you just need to get into an agreement. That comes in handy in case there are those conflicts that are arising. You'd find that, question is that if you want to evict that tenant, on what basis are you evicting on? Or if they have an obligation that they are supposed to undertake, on what basis are you going to enforce that obligation? Remember, the lease agreement is actually made up of different parts. Yes. You know, there's the tenant's obligation as well as the landlord's obligation, and what ties both of them and all those issues. You'd find that the most asked question, which I'm an estate agent and I'll just give my opinion on the issue of security deposit. You know, you'd find that a lot of people actually argue on that. But standing on the side of landlords, I would say why they actually ask for security deposit. It's on the premise of, in the old times you'd find that somebody, because they are owing or they have found a new job, they would actually shift at 24 hours and leave the property and just leave the keys there. So now it will be on the onus of the landlord to actually prepare the property at their cost and do whatever preparations that are supposed to be undertaken to the property. So the landlords usually ask for security deposit so that whatever happens, they are able to actually fix the property with that amount. And whatever remains, I've seen quite a number, especially the properties that we actually manage, we've actually retained security deposit to the owners if they have given the property in the state in which it was given to them. Yes. That's where the issue comes in. So, but if it is not highlighted in the lease agreement, on what basis are you going to undertake their obligations if the person did not sign on it. So it's always important to go into that agreement because it ties both people that are actually in that. You'd find that, no, like we said, who is obligated to fix a particular item that is damaged in the property if it was not highlighted. You get me? In terms of fixing that, or actually when it comes to giving notice, as it were, you're supposed to give 1 month's notice, either of eviction or of vacating the property. But if there's no lease agreement, anybody can just wake up and say, hey, I want you to be out of my house, or the tenant would say, I'm leaving tomorrow. And there'll be nothing to hold them again.
So it actually works for both parties,
for both,
yeah, the landlord
sure.
and the tenant.
Sure.
So tell me if you have clients in the diaspora, if you help people in the diaspora as well?
Sure. I actually help quite a number of them. That is, I don't know if Botswana is also considered as diaspora.
Of course.
I've got some clients in Botswana, in America, and quite a number of places. I have quite a number of them within Zambia. So what we actually do for them is that I think one of my clients who is in Botswana, they have their properties right here in Lusaka dotted around as far as the copper belt within and all. So we actually undertake all the processes. That is putting in tenants, screening them, the check-ins, or should I say the ins and the outs, evictions, lease agreement tightenings, and all those actually aspects. So what we do on a monthly basis is just deposit their monies into their accounts when tenants have actually paid. So they check on me, but I check on the tenants, because then we have actually eliminated the stress that is involved. Yeah. I'll give an example, one last thing. I had one particular client who is within now, but they were based in Nigeria for a longest period of time. Before I took over managing their property, it happened that when something happens, let's say at the property, they would call them at 02. You're getting me? That no, water is not running. Oh no, the gate has stopped in between. Because when you have a number of units, you actually deal with a lot of issues on a daily basis. You'd find that the gate motor stopped working. With this load shedding, you'd find that if it's more than 8 hours, the battery life is actually expired. So you'd find that you need that gate to be put either in manual or on auto. So those are issues. When you talk of the tanks, or because of the boreholes and all, because of the going and the coming of power, you'd find that there's that
the
power
deficit. Working,
yes. So you'd find that it's not pumping, and then people cannot stay without water. That needs to be fixed. So somebody has to call you so that you can fix it. But imagine you are in the diaspora, the difference of hours, it might be noon here, but maybe where you are, it's actually evening. So now, how do you coordinate the works? But if you have somebody on the ground, I receive calls as late as 01, 02, 03. Why? It's because somewhere a gate has stopped and I need to go and deal with it. Yesterday, I attended an event somewhere. I was getting home at about 22, 23. I forgot that at one of my particular properties, the caretaker had an emergency, so they went to their home place, but there's no one to actually close the gate, man the place and everything. Immediately I had to dispatch somebody from my team to go and handle that particular issue. Imagine if you are the landlord and you are in the diaspora, how do you handle that?
Exactly.
Sure. So
I love that. People are going to really, really appreciate this
sure.
information. This is exactly what they needed to hear. Now tell me, Ngosa, do you only deal with long-term tenants, or do you deal with short-term stays as well, like Airbnb?
No, we actually deal with everything. That is from retail, commercial, residential. I have actually a different portfolio. So we've got actually furnished apartments under Airbnb. We've got students' accommodation. We actually run, or should I say, manage a boarding house in Silveres, just near the university. We've got over 32 students there. We actually deal with the day-to-day running of everything. And truth be told, a boarding house is difficult to actually handle because of the damage that comes with it. But we've run for over 2 years and the property is still in its pristine condition because we are there to actually deal with matters as they arise. So we are dealing with everything: commercial buildings, commercial property, offices, as well as residential.
Now, I know the question that people will have after listening to all of this is, how do you charge? What is your fee structure like?
Okay, it's not a size-fits-all kind of situation. I think we take it as it's as and when, I think, how we have actually discussed with the client, because you'd find that if somebody has got, I'll give an example. I've got some clients that own about 15 units. There are some that own about 25 units. There are some that own about 30 units. So definitely the charge will be different. But the minimum charge that we do actually is about 10% of the rentals collected on a monthly basis. But like I said, it's not a size fits all. You'll find that we'll look at the monthly turnover and then look at the obligations and all those issues. Then we might actually maybe agree to a fixed amount or an agreed amount as compared to the 10% of everything. That is one. Or two, I'll give an example. Let's say there's one client, I had to turn that down because I'm in Lusaka, my office is in Kabulonga, but their property is deep in one place, which is down Chilanga. You're getting me? So now, and the rental price was lower. If
so
I charge a 10% of that, it was not making sense because my going there just to check on the property and do whatever, it is more than that. Then two, if I charge more, it won't make sense because the rental amount that they're getting is low.
Right.
So what I had to say is I brought these concerns and told the client, I would love to take on your property, but it won't make sense on your end if I charge you more, and it won't make sense on my end if I still maintain the price or charge a little lower. Yeah, so it's based on a scenario.
Okay, all right. This has been wonderful. And then, I just thought of something important, actually. So how much should property owners be retaining for maintenance of their property?
Okay.
Yeah.
So, like I indicated, it's not an all size fits all as well. It's dependent on whatever property that actually happens that we are actually undertaking. Because you'd find that if a property has been built properly, as in the items, or should I say the fittings and all were properly done, you'd find that maybe maintenance works are usually lower. Give an example. If it's a new build, you don't expect a lot of damages because things are in their pristine condition. Unlike a property that has had quite a number of tenants or the quality of the build was actually compromised, you'd find that like the things that we usually do on a daily basis are plumbing works, electrical works, and these other gadgets, because maybe the geyser has been working over time, and the issue that we're having in Zambia, it's actually calcium issue. So you find that you do not take time to actually clean the geysers, so you find that they're clogged and all those issues. So they actually burn up the elements and all those issues. So you find that those are actually done almost every after in a month and all those issues. So you'd find that it depends. If the property was compromised, then definitely the maintenance cost would be actually high. But if it's a property that has actually been done up well, you'd find that within the first 2-3 years, there would be perfect or less costs. Then as you go, that's where now you begin to have quite a lot. And one thing that actually we do now, we've actually implemented, we actually do property inspection every 3 months. Why? To reduce the wear and tear of the property. So you'd find that those days would actually wait until the property person is actually moving out. You'd find that a lot of damage has actually occurred in the property. But we noticed that when we give notice that we'll be actually doing an inspection in the next 3 months, people are actually keen to take care of the property, because when you come, they want you to find everything perfect, and that is actually improving a number of properties. A lot of properties that we're managing, actually, they are still in their condition, their good condition, because we undertake those processes.
Brilliant, excellent. Okay, so now tell us about yourself, Ngosa. Tell us who you are and how you got into this business.
Sure. So I'm Ngosa Nkandu. I am the CEO and founder of Kingdom Real Estate Agency. I began this journey, I think that was about 15 years ago, as an estate agent. We were actually just doing the normal sales and rentals, that is both low and middle end. But later on, I think after going through the trial and error in the sector, I started improving myself. Actually, you know that I've digested quite a lot of your content, if not all. So in other words, you qualify to be my mentor. Yeah, because I think quite a number of things. I think 15 years ago, I didn't have anybody that could actually mentor you in the real estate space. I had a few people, but it would be just, they were also trying to get their feet into the game. So they didn't give me much. but in consuming quite a number of content that is in the United States of America, a number of agents that I follow and all those issues, I started improving myself. And actually that's how I noticed, or should I say discovered, these other areas that we could actually venture in. So aside the real estate agency, we actually have the property management, which we've actually been doing for I think about 10 years now. You know, so we brought in that. We have the coaching program where we actually help agents or upcoming agents to actually perfect their craft, to become professionals, and just how to strike the deal. So, yeah.
Fantastic.
Basically.
Thank you so much for this interview. It has been fantastic. I know so many people watching it will have gotten so much value. So tell people how they can contact you, because I'm sure after this you'll get a lot of inquiries.
Sure. So I think what I've done actually, it's something that I'm dealing with. I am the contact person for all these things.
Okay.
So the difference with our service is, I know we have big players in the market. The question that I usually ask whoever the prospective client of mine is, call me and call the other agency at 24 hours. Let's see who is going to pick up the call. And trust me, call me at 01, I'll pick up your call.
I don't know
Call
if your
me
wife
at
likes
03.
that very much.
She actually, thank God I married a good wife. She understands my operations. There are times that actually, because on all property groups, because what we've done is for each particular property, we have a WhatsApp group just for easy communication in regards to the property. So we don't bring any other issue. I know people love Manu, love Arsenal and all, but we don't bring it in those things. So it's just for information purposes. And I've added that on all platforms. So she knows what is happening at what particular time. So if she gets a message when I'm actually not available, she will actually be able to respond and get no. Amazing. He will be able to call you back. He's maybe in class or he's attending to something, and or when I'm leaving at 01, like 02, she knows where I'm going. And obviously, because we are Christians, so she will begin to pray for my safety as I go and all. So yeah, it's perfect. So they can actually reach me on my mobile line. I think we'll be able to put it on the screen.
We'll put all the information on the screen.
Then yeah, and then they can actually go to our, that is our Facebook page, that is Kingdom Real Estate Agency Limited. I think they can actually reach us there as well.
Wonderful. Sure. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here.
It was a pleasure being here.
I hope you found that interview useful. Ngosa had so many great tips about how they can eliminate the stress of being a property owner and dealing with difficult tenants. Now, he has a tip especially for our Facebook group community. So if you're not in our Facebook group, go over there and make sure that you request to join us so that you can hear the tip that he has just for you. Now, we're on the road to 10,000 subscribers and we need your help to get there. So if you haven't done so already, then please subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the notification button so you don't miss any of our videos. And if you did find this video informative and useful, then please share it with one Zambian in your community. Otherwise, if you want to get in touch with Ngosa, then please use the contact details below this video. And if you'd like to connect with us, then we would love to hear from you as well. Otherwise, it's bye for now. So I hope you found that video useful, and I hope, sorry, I want to start again.
Intro, take 2.
We also have a Facebook group where we talk all things real estate. And in fact, we have a special tip from you